Hello and welcome to the Joy of Art Studio. I'm Joy Fay and I'm really happy to present to you what I'm going to be teaching in an up-and-coming workshop in acrylics, which is a beginner's landscape workshop. Now, I'm here in the Mijas studio, which is the Mijas Art Centre in Mijas Pueblo in southern Spain. And it's a wonderful space and great for painting and fantastic for our courses and classes and workshops. Now, I've been inspired very much by a wonderful artist called Rob Moore, who has a very simple and easy to follow method of painting, which I'm going to be using in this workshop. And it's based on 3 simple steps. And the simple steps are basically 3 colours, 3 brushes, and 3 ways of putting this little painting together, which I'm going to show you how to do. Now, most people looking at this saying, oh, I'll never be able to do that, but believe me, you will. You'll be able to take this home and feel really proud that you know exactly how to put a wonderful landscape painting together, just using the 3 colours and the 3 brushes. And the mistake that most beginners make is that they go and buy all the colours under the rainbow, a whole mass of brushes, and then wonder, what to do, where to start, what colours to use, and indeed what to paint. So I'm going to help you take the mystery out of all of that and go through it step by step to show you how you too can paint a wonderful landscape painting. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a short demonstration of how we get started with this painting to show you how easy it is and how anyone can actually do it. So, what I've done here, I put my palette up on the board so you can see exactly. I've just put the ultramarine blue up for the time being because that's what we're going to use to begin with. And then I've got my small canvas here. So, with your flat brush, which I was telling you about before, and the other thing that you do need is kitchen roll. You'll go through kitchen roll like crazy, but that's fine. So with the brush and a little bit of water if you're using acrylic. Now, I'm here in Spain and it's very, very hot, and acrylics tend to dry quite quickly. So we'll all learn how to work fast. And there might be a little bit of a buzz in the background because I've got the fan on, because today it's about 35 degrees, so it's very, very hot. So let's put a little bit of water on here and take a little bit of paint. So it's quite watery. And basically what we're going to draw in is our basic shapes. Now, when you're looking at any painting, you want to be having a look what the biggest shapes are. And in this little painting here that we're going to do, you can see that we've got various big shapes. We've got the sky, we've got the mountains here, we've got the trees, obviously the little house, the landscape here, and the tree. So those are our big shapes. So that's what we're going to actually just draw in briefly, not particularly, but just so to give us an idea of where we are. Now, the other thing that, I'll keep this here actually, the other thing to consider is our composition. And this is kind of fundamental to putting a painting together. Now, if you imagine, if you take this, the canvas, and divide it into thirds, you'll have a third here and a third here going down, and a third here and a third here going across. So if you actually notice what I've got here is I've got the mountain range starting from the third coming down here, okay? And I've got the horizon line here on that third. So I've broken it up correctly so the eye can follow those 2 points. Then, where it crosses here, this is your line of focus, the house, and here's your other focus, which is the tree. So compositionally, we're working very traditionally into the composition. And this is relevant to every painting that you might do. And if you're aware of that, you can't really go too wrong. So you divide it into thirds and divide it into thirds across, and where those lines cross is what we call the centre of interest. So this house crosses the centre of interest, which is here. This comes round, and this is also our centre of interest, the tree. So it's really very straightforward once you know the rule. Okay, so let's just start putting that together here. So if we imagine our thirds, so I'm going to put just little lines here to show where our thirds are, and that gives us a little guideline to begin. Okay, so you can see that. So we're going to take the mountain range, and that's going to be here. We can, do however we want to do it with the mountains. And here is our horizon line, which is where our field's going to be. I obviously haven't done that properly because I'm not looking at it straight, okay? So we've now got three shapes: our sky, our mountains and trees, and our foreground, okay? Then what we're going to do is to put our tree line in, which is basically equidistant between here. So these are our trees here, okay? And then we can just very roughly put where the house is going to be, okay? So if we're here and here, you see I'm not really drawing, I'm just intimating where things are going to be, okay? I can always change it later if I'm not quite happy where they're placed, but at the moment you can see how it's coming together. Then we're going to put the other trees in, just keeping this very watery, very loose on the palette, and we've got our secondary trees, which are just behind here. Okay, our bushes, which are here and here. Then our tree is going to go approximately here, and that's going to go all the way up to the top. So we've got an idea now about where everything is placed. Okay, so that's kind of our beginning of making our composition and making sure everything's in the right place. Okay, so now we're going to add the detail. Now for this, I'm not going to use a flat brush for this. I'm going to use this little gesso brush. So I'm going to add a little bit of, this is running a little bit on here, I'm going to add the paint to here. So I'm going to put on the crimson, so that's going to come on here. And I've just put this up here so you can see what I'm doing, and it makes it a little bit easier. And I think it's a great idea because it shows you, what's happening. Okay, so we've got our ultramarine blue, azurine crimson, and yellow ochre, and then we're also going to use white. Now I've got a very big thing of white here because I'm always using it. Always using loads of white, and I'm going to just take some of that out with my palette knife, and I'm going to put the white over to the side here. Okay, so I've got it well laid out. Now you can see it's not complicated. I haven't had to put out a whole bunch of colours. So I'll just get the rest of the white off here. So now, first of all, we're going to block in the sky. Now, if you look at the sky, the darker part of the sky is at the top, and the lighter part of the sky is right at the bottom. So you get the feeling of it going back. You get like a 3D effect. So we've got the darker at the top, and we graduate it down to the light at the bottom. So let's just start with doing that. Now, another mistake that beginners tend to do is to not use enough paint, and therefore they run out, and then it starts to be really difficult to blend it. So you can see I've put quite a bit of paint on here, which gives us some flexibility and to be able to move it around a little. Now I've got the dry brush. I'm just going to damp it off a little and just wipe the excess off it, so it's just damp. And first of all, I'm going to take a bit of white, put the white up here, and and I'm going to add some of the blue. So you can see here what I'm doing. So this is for the very top band of the sky. And it's going to be a sunny day, so we don't want it too dark. So that's about the right colour. And we're just going to run a band across the top here of the blue. So you can see what I'm doing here. Paint on that. And as I say, with it being acrylic, it dries quite quickly. So we've got our first band of blue, the top part of the sky. We're going to add a bit more white. Bring that in. And I'm going to blend that in to the next band. So you can see it's getting lighter. Okay. This little brush is great because it's very easy to use. Okay, so you can see now I've got darker at the top and I'm going lighter. I'm going to add more white. And you can see anyone can do this. If you know, I'm going to just drop a tiny bit of water on it. You know, if you know how to do this, you can see that it's really quite simple. So I'm coming down again to a lighter band. Down here. You can see it's getting lighter as we go. I'm just blending it into the other colour. Okay. A little bit darker on there. And it's drying so quickly. And then we're going to add a little bit of more white. So by the time we get to the bottom, it's really, really very, very, very light. Okay. So here we go with the light. You can see now how light it's going. I'm going to add a little bit more white to that. As it goes right out to the distance. Okay. So you can see how that begins to put the sky in and how simple it is. So you can see how we've gone from dark through to light. And if I stand back, yeah, that's looking okay. So that's the beginning. So you can see how simple it is, really, to get this painting started, knowing what you're doing. So the next thing we're going to do are the mountains. So now with the mountains, what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of purplier them. Put a little bit of the crimson in it here. This is just running here because of the... just move that out of the way, that's okay. So, what I'm going to do here is, again, take some white. We use a lot of white, as I said before. A little bit of the blue, again, and a tiny drop of the crimson. Not too much, maybe that's a little bit much. More of that in, and I'm going to need some more white. So let me just get that. You see, you run out of it so quickly, you have to be prepared. So have everything here ready just to go. And at the top of this brush here. So we've got some more white here, which is great. Okay. And so I'm going to add a little bit more white to this. For the far distant mountains, let's just check. Maybe a little bit more blue. Grey it down a little because they're right in the distance. Now the blue colour takes us back, and the redder we are takes us forward. So tiny little bit more blue, tiny bit more white. So that's about right. So now I'm going to block in where the mountains are. Don't worry about the tree because we're going to put that in later. So you can see here, and this brush is great because it gives you kind of a natural feel to the edges. You don't want sharp edges at the back because that brings it forward. So the looser the edges are, really the better. So you can see how I'm just blocking that in here. I'm going to drop a little bit more white in. You know, it can be quite hazy, can't it, when you're looking at the mountain? So this gives it a bit of contrast. And we come back later and add some highlights in for where the light is. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. Again, mixing the colours from here. And this is going to go darker, so we're looking at tone values here, which in the workshop I'll go into in more detail. But we're doing layers at the moment and building up. So I'm going to take again the white, and this time the trees are going to be a little bit darker because they're more in the foreground. So I'm going to make these darker, as you'll see. And once we've blocked all the colour in, we then do all the highlights of the trees, which again I'll show you. So this is for the trees. I'm going to go a little bit darker than that. So the ultramarine blue. And, you know, the trees kind of circle round, so we don't want them too even. And that's what I'm doing with this brush. I'm kind of circling it around to give some texture for the trees, you'll see here. Okay, so you can see now that we've blocked in the colours. I haven't started to do any detail on the house or the tree, but you can see the basic foundation of doing the painting. So it gives you an idea of how you too can do this. It's not difficult. We've just used the three colours, the ultramarine, the azurine crimson and the yellow ochre with some white. So you can see what we've done. We've made the band bluer across the top. We've come right down to where it's lighter, so you get the feeling that the painting is, the picture is going really back into the distance. We've done the mountains, and then we've done the base of the trees. I'm going to show you in the workshop how then you highlight them and bring them to life. And the same with the ones in the front. We've started to block in the colour for the land here, and we've started to block in the colour for the shadow of the tree, which we're going to put in once we've finished the background. So that gives you a really nice idea of how the painting comes together and how you too can do this. Here's the picture a little bit further along, where I've started to put the highlights in the trees and the house and the shadow, put the tree in. So I'm going to show you exactly how you do that. So you can learn all this. I've got 2 workshops for this landscape workshop dates. The first is Sunday the 10th of September from 10:30 till 4:30, and the second one is on the 15th of September, which is a Friday, same time, 10:30 to 4:30. Everything will be included, so you'll have your canvas, you'll have your colours, your brushes, you'll have everything that you need, plus you'll get a nice light lunch and some refreshments. And for the whole day, it's only going to be €49.99. So you're going to take away a lovely picture that you can put on the wall and feel really happy with. You'll have learned a lot, made a lot of friends and had a great day. So if you'd like to come, please go to the link below on joyfayartist.com and make your booking. And I will really look forward to seeing you then. Just as a little extra, if you would love to come to the workshop but can't, then don't despair, because I'm actually doing this workshop online, and you can find out all the information about that on my website. I do the workshop over a month, do a step at a time, one step a week, and so you can still enjoy painting and get the same results, but you can do it from home. So if you want more information about that, you'll need to go to my website. So, okay, that's it. So I hope that you'll be able to come, and please, if you can, subscribe to my channel, because that's great, and like the video if you did, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much. Bye for now.